Hello there, welcome. This is Point of View, our weekly chat with industry leaders, and tonight a man whose star very definitely on the rise. That is Federated Farmers National Vice President Wayne Langford. But wait, there is more. Wayne is a father of three boys, a Golden Bay dairy farmer. He has a popular Facebook page called YOLO Farmer and co-founded a very successful charity, Meet the Need. In fact, is having had, should I say, a telethon just yesterday. So Wayne, welcome to our Point of View. Gosh, you're so busy.
Oh, man of many hats, but no, I like to think I keep it all in check most of the time. Like you say, it's been a busy week with the telethon, but now looking forward to Christmas and having a break over the new year.
You've got a farm, you've got your own farm at last, and then you get yourself involved in all this other stuff, you know, Federated Farmers and YOLO Farmer, and I mean, how do you fit it all in?
I was really fortunate, I guess, being involved in a family farming operation. I guess my I was probably a little more secure there, and I had the opportunity to go off farm and get the head ticking and get into the world of governance and leadership roles off farm, and so that kind of got me into that space, which I guess has only carried on really since when did I begin that? 2010 sometime. So
was it sort of initially through Federated Farmers and things like that you decided that you'd have a crack at doing a bit more?
Well, it was actually the local vet club board actually was my first there. My neighbour bailed me up on the side of the road and he said, we wouldn't mind some young fresh blood on the board and a few new ideas. And I didn't think they know. I think now looking back on it, they would have wished they never asked. But no, just joking. No, I threw the cat amongst the pigeons once or two times there, but I really enjoyed it. That was something completely different off farm. It was one of the best things about governance often is the people that you meet around the table as well, and the conversations you have, and you get to look at how they do business and what they get up to, and that's been pretty powerful all the way through my off farm stuff. Is that I've connected with other farmers and other business people as a whole, and people such as yourself, Mark, and you get to see the way they operate, how they handle people, how they manage staff, how they run their business, what values they live by. It's really interesting stuff, and you just take a little nugget from everyone and hopefully turn it into some sort of gold block yourself. Yeah.
Well, to me, you're looking at yourself, you've got a lovely family, you've got a gorgeous wife, you've got a great farm, everything's together, but there were dark times. You've been through a real bad patch with your mental health, with depression particularly.
Yeah, no, that's right, and that's that was a great segue actually. It's because that's exactly how it felt, right? Like I remember when I was in the lowest of the lows, the worst, the worst place, and thinking to myself, I've got everything a guy could want here. I just brought my farm. I was a young farm owner. It was, perfectly healthy, happy family, blah blah blah. And just I remember thinking to myself, what's going on here? What's this all about? This doesn't make any sense. And I didn't know how to deal with it. On top of that, I didn't know. I didn't know what mental health was as such. When I thought about mental health, I thought it was, being locked up in a straitjacket, hidden away in some hospital somewhere, getting fed a bunch of pills and geez, how much I've learned over the last 5 or 6 years, coming through the journey and working through the challenges that I've had, and learning so much more. You just realize it's not that, and you just realize how many people in everyday life are going through something, and we all just need to treat each other with respect and kindness and whatnot. So, because you never know what someone's dealing with.
So, how did it manifest itself, Wayne? What happened to you?
Well, there was two ways it looked, right? Because there is two sides of me. I've got a very public side of me as well. So publicly, I would like to think I was holding it all together pretty well, and putting on a brave face. But at home, I was crashing pretty heavily. A lot of time in bed, not a lot of time spent with friends or family. Constantly finding excuses to get out of things. The farm, I wasn't making decisions. I wasn't, I wasn't. The farm was quite messy. I remember, constantly ringing up the stock truck company, on a Sunday afternoon, because I'd run out of feed or something like that, and asking if they could bring some out and all these sort of things. I didn't realize that Tyler, my wife, had taken on the financial side of the business quite as much as she had, and what I'd kind of let go there, and obviously, the toughest bit was the effect it was having on the kids and what they were going through and whatnot. There, that was pretty tough as well.
So 3 boys, and they're quite young, and they want to be with their dad, and dad's sort of in bed or not engaging.
Yeah, that's right, and you can imagine the hot and coldness of it as well, right? Because as most people know me now, I'm quite a fun, laughing kind of guy. I'm an optimist. I see the positive in most things, and so and that's kind of what they expect. That's what they've grown up with, and then all of a sudden there was these mood swings. There was a lot of anger, a lot of tears, a lot of everything really going on, and it's probably where I need to plug my wife, the one that held it all together at those times, and there's so many partners that go through this as well. It's hard enough for the person going through the depression itself, but it's got to be even harder for the spouse or the partner that has to deal with it. They have to deal with the friends and the family that they've got to come up with an excuse as to why nothing's happening. They've got to tell the kids or make up some reason why mum or dad's behaving the way they are, and all that sort of stuff. It's not an easy space to be in. So they earn all the praise they can get in that situation.
So how long did it last, Wayne, and how did you get through it or get help?
Yeah, well, for me it was I felt like it was 2 or 3 months. My wife said it was probably a year to 15 months. Sometimes that was really quite noticeable. Yeah, and for me, it was it was my 34th birthday. I remember laying in bed looking kind of, and I had this like a vision of looking down on myself from above, thinking, what are you doing here? What's this all about? As we mentioned, you're happy, you're healthy. Sorry, well, you're not happy, but you're healthy, and you've got a family, and it should be all good. There's no reason type thing to be here. So for whatever that reason that day, I swung my legs around, put my feet on the floor, grabbed the family, and we headed to the beach. I remember, we just had a fantastic day at the beach and enjoyed the birthday and whatnot. And when I jumped back in the car, I said to my wife, "Hey," I said, we're gonna do something like this every day for the next 365 days, because I just want to feel this feeling that that I hadn't felt so long. So that's what we did. Well, that's what we set out to do. One of the kids at the same time in the back jumped up and said YOLO, which stands for you only live once. And from there, I guess the YOLO farmer was born, and we haven't looked back since.
So YOLO Farmer, this is on social media. It's a Facebook page mainly, I guess, is it, or Instagram? And what's the? Have you been going ever since? I mean, you went for 365 days of doing something every day. That's a few years ago now, I suggest.
I don't know how many. It must be 5 or 6. So we're up to YOLO Day 2095 today, I think. So. So yeah, quite an effort. Obviously where we got to day 365. I asked the kids, I said, "Oh, hey, do you want to stop this?" And they were like, "Oh, heck no, every day is an adventure. We don't know what we're going to be doing or where we're going to be going." It's definitely changed a little bit now, because it's just become so much a part of our life. It's I don't know if you've ever seen the Jim Carrey movie Yes Man. It's quite similar. It's quite similar to that. If someone says, invites you to something or to do something, you just say yes, and you see where that road takes you. You never know, and you never know the people you're going to meet and what you're going to do, and that's kind of how we've been living our life, and it's not a bad way to go. Actually, it's pretty cool.
It's quite a bit of pressure, though. I'd have thought, to come up with ideas every day. I mean, you can't go to the beach every day. What are some of the things you do, and how serious does it have to be to qualify as a YOLO event?
Yeah, so YOLO for me, and the way we've phrased it is it's something that makes your heart, or it's something that makes you feel alive. Whether it gets your head ticking, or your brain moving, or your heart beating a bit more, or something. Whatever it is, yesterday as an example, I had a fantastic day. I had to race off to Hamilton to do a big meeting up there in Hamilton for Feds and whatnot. Had a great night with the Meet the Need team. But the thing that really got my heart beating yesterday was I was on the flight to Hamilton, and there was this elderly lady who literally, she must have been ticking 100, I reckon, and she was very frail, very old, and she grabbed the air hostess by the arm as she walked past, and she said, "Excuse me, dear, do you mind if I could move over and sit on the other side of the plane?" And she said, "I'd really like to see the mountain, because this could be the last time I ever get to see the mountain," and it was just like, wow, like it just kind of slapped me in the face, and wow, and and well, I guess the good part of the story was that the crew actually did it. They picked her up and moved her over and whatnot, in amongst the busy flight that they were dealing with and everything else, and there she was, and she sat there in the window in front of me, staring out the window the whole time. And I don't know, it's just those things that make you feel alive and realize what being a human's all about. And life's short, live every day for what it is, and because you never know when your time's up.
Now, this sort of has resonated with a lot of people, of course. Tell us how many people are now following your YOLO Farmer.
Yeah, so we turned it into its own Facebook page. You see, I was documenting it on social media, which actually turned out really good for me, because it was a great way to keep me accountable and keep me going. And on the other side of it, it's been amazing to see the support and the backing that it's got behind the messages that have come in, people telling their own stories and others sharing what they're up to and whatnot. But yeah, it's grown from just a few family and friends following to well up over 35,000 people or something now following, and through multiple channels and different things and whatnot. And social media is a fantastic beast for connecting with people and being able to do some pretty cool things.
Well, that's a city of people actually watching you and what you get up to every day, so it's pretty impressive. Got so much to talk about, Wayne. We're already through half the program, so we'll have a wee bit of a break, and we've got another very exciting event which happened yesterday with the big telethon, which is a wonderful event, the Big Feed. So we'll talk a wee bit about that as well. Coming next, my guest Wayne Langford, National Vice President, Federated Farmers. This is Point of View. Welcome back. This is Point of View. I'm Mark Leishman, and my guest is Wayne Langford, a man of many parts. He's mainly, of course, National Vice President of Federated Farmers. But Wayne, you've done something extra special just in the last 24 to 48 hours. I'm sure it took a lot longer to organise than that. But Meet the Need is your charity, and we'll find out a wee bit about that. But particularly so this week, the Big Feed was a telethon that you ran online. And that's a pretty remarkable idea to try and get off the ground.
Yeah, well, we thought we probably just hadn't quite done enough in 2023, so we'd have another crack just before 2022, just before Christmas. So we thought we'd host a big a telethon, just like the old school telethons used to be. I'm sure you're old enough to remember, Mark, as am I.
I was on many of them, Wayne. I was on many of them. In fact, I even did one from Nelson, where I was working at the time. So from your neck of the woods.
Interestingly, I was on a call with one of the Fonterra comms team the other day, and the poor young lady on there actually asked. She said, "Oh, excuse me, you have to tell me what a telethon is. I'm not old enough to remember." So there you go. That makes you feel old. But no, we hosted a rural telethon. It was all about telling the good stories of ag. Connecting different people and getting a little insight into their lives and why they farm and why they do what they do. Also, our processes and ultimately some of the food banks, which the telethon was for the charity Meet the Need and supplying those food banks with valuable mince and milk for 2023. So it was a fantastic day. A number of All Blacks, current and former All Blacks, different personalities. Like I say, a number of people from the ag space, live crosses and different activities and all kinds of things going on, as is the case with the rural telethon. It was just the stake in the sand this year, something just to say, hey, this is something that we want to do more often, and so you'll definitely see us again next year, bigger and better. But it was a heck of a lot of fun at the same time.
Now, Meet the Need, we must talk about this. I mean, you say, oh, we thought we'd better do something this year. I mean, tell me how many meals. Meet the Need is the charity, of course, that uses the generosity of farmers and their stock, their animals and their milk for that matter, and it is then processed by, I think, is it Alliance or Silver Fern
Farms, yeah. Meiraka Milk Company and Fonterra as well.
And so all that is processed and given to more than 100 food banks across New Zealand.
That's right. Yeah. So, the original idea, I think, was a bit of a kind of an urban-rural divide type thing, particularly during COVID when our urban cousins were really battling there with job losses and whatnot. But it's also spread really into our rural communities, and our farmers said, we really want to support our rural communities as we do the cities, but that's why we've probably grown so quickly across so many rural towns, is because we wanted to support them. And to be fair, with the volume of food that we produce, I don't want to say it's been easy, but it has what. Yeah, I don't know what you'd say. It's not easy, I know, but it's been great to be able to get the support from farmers to make a big difference in those communities. I'd say would be how I'd put it.
Now, how successful has it been, Wayne? Come on, tell us the facts. I mean, what, 100 meals?
Great milestone. We hit 1 million meals in October, which was really fantastic. It did sit me back on my chair a little bit. It is really good. It's such a challenge, right? Because I'm a pretty optimistic, goal-driven guy, and I know what we can achieve with this, and so I'm still building and growing it. But yeah, we definitely, when we hit that 1 million meals, we did pop a bottle of bubbles maybe and celebrate a little, because so that's pretty cool and very cool for New Zealand farmers. All those farmers that have donated, when they were sending away a few lambs and they thought of us, that's just awesome, and it's obviously it's made a massive difference. I mean, yeah, not too many people get to see what I see, I guess, with the contact with the food banks, but just they are just blown away. Meat is not something they get. Meat is a protein that there's no waste for it, because it's such a valuable product. So they don't get any typically, and so to have it arriving every 6 weeks on their doorstep, all packaged up, all easy to handle in a way that that the families can cook it quite easily and whatnot, is just fantastic for them. Also, a big it's also halal certified as well, which we get a lot of feedback on, and a lot of families that have that requirement as well. So it's pretty cool, and it's just slowly chipping away to really kind of build that confidence back up in farming and trust in what we do, and show that we really are those good buggers out there doing what we're doing.
Well, you're being a bit modest, because you co-founded Meet the Need. It was basically your idea, and what a beast or some lambs or whatever are donated by the farmer, and then does Silver Fern Farms then come in and process it for nothing?
I had this idea after dropping some mints off at our local food bank and seeing what a difference that could make locally. I then teamed up with Siobhan O'Malley, who was a share milker on the West Coast, and she kind of put some detail behind my madness, and then we bumped our way along to connecting with Silver Fern Farms and working out how we could do this at scale, because I think that is one of the keys to it, is doing it at scale in a way that everyone can get involved. So now when a farmer donates, they donate, and the monetary value of that animal gets given to Meet the Need, and then we buy that mince back off Silver Fern Farms to cancel it out easily. So that means that we don't have to process an animal in Northland, which then gets sent to Invercargill to blah blah blah. It all just goes into a big pool, and then we can really efficiently produce 5 or 10 ton worth of mince in the Hawke's Bay. Send it out amongst the distribution network that Silver Fern Farms have already got, using bid food and whatnot, and deliver it to the food banks, like I say, in a timely manner and in a way that they can use it. So one of the challenges in the past is that a food bank hasn't been able to take a whole cow or a whole sheep at times, because they don't have the freezer space for it. So we've provided it in a way that they can do it. interestingly, some of the biggest feedback has been the mince comes in little 12-kilo boxes about the size of a briefcase, and the food banks say the number of elderly ladies or elderly people that they have working in their food bank, that of course can't lift a 25-kilo box of mince, and they're so grateful that it's just a 12-kilo box of mince that they can throw around easy. So it's the small things, but it's been a pretty cool process working it all out over the last couple of years.
Now, just to finally mention the big feed, which was the telethon held this week, you can still donate. You can text to the word feed to 206, and that's a straight up donation of $3 just like that. So you want to do that 3 or 4 times, that'll soon get the coffers rolling. Fantastic.
If you missed out on donating an animal, you still absolutely can at meettheneed.org, the website. Still an opportunity there. I'm not sure quite what the tally came to on the day. We're still adding that up and getting on the final numbers in. There is still, like I say, still a few donations coming in. So we'll have that number through to you in the new year, Mark.
Good on you, man. Okay, Wayne, look, I suppose we better get serious. I mean, again, it is serious what you've been talking about, but nonetheless, you know, the job, put on the Vice President's hat. And how do you feel? I mean, the legislation, the regulations, you know, what's happening with the government, emissions, 3 waters. I mean, goodness knows, there's so much going on. How are people handling it all?
And in terms of how people are handling it, they're absolutely exhausted. It's not. You know, it's bad enough that you know, we don't have enough people to run our farms and you know, keep the farms running as efficiently and whatnot as they have done in the past. But then to chuck some of the regulation and whatnot that's coming down at pace on top of them has been extremely difficult and overwhelming for many farmers to kind of keep up with. You know, that is why Feds exists and why I and others do what we do in terms of representing farmers there is to hopefully take some of that burden off the shoulders and hopefully get some better results within government. It's been a challenging year this year with you know, when you're dealing with a majority government like we are and an agenda that they're pushing quite strongly. And it's, you know, to be fair, it's not something that I kind of disagree with overly. You know, it's not something that I'm completely anti the agenda that they're pushing, but I would definitely say the pace and the speed in which they're pushing it is the trouble, and that's where our farmers are really struggling to keep up with.
Would you suggest that has shown that federated farmers is really needed even more now than possibly even in the past, that you are the guys there who take from the ground up your members' wishes and thoughts, and then, you know, project them to those who know, who can make the decisions. So federated farmers' position is probably stronger than ever.
Yeah, definitely needed. You know, I know we've got others you know, in the space, you know, representing farmers, you know, we're obviously seeing Groundswell pop up and whatnot and do their thing. And to be fair, they're playing the role that they're playing is effective in what they're doing as well. But, you know, Feds is about getting in there and working with the government departments, working with the politicians and working to get results for farmers. And that's what we do. And that's quite, you know, quite clearly what we're about. So, you know, we've had some good wins, and half of the, you know, many, I wouldn't even say half, the majority of those go unseen. But yeah, we're definitely getting somewhere, not as far as we'd like, but somewhere, and looking forward to 2023 really, when it is going to open up a bit more. I think obviously we'll more than likely have an election, and it'll be interesting to see what different parties will be promoting at that time.
There have been real positives, of course, we must say, you know, with various free trade agreements being handled, world trade, and okay, the figures aren't going so well right now, but you know, it's likely to bounce back. The world will always need food.
Yeah, that's right. And when you look at it, you know, from a positive point of view, you know, we've come through 2 pretty tough years for a country. And farming's done pretty well off the back of it. Sorry, and you know, record kind of high prices and low interest rates and whatnot at that time. Of course, we can see the headwinds coming, and I think they're coming at us full steam ahead. You know, it's going to be a tough couple of years. I think is what I'm predicting, but we've got ourselves into quite a good place to handle that, and hopefully we can get through and continue supporting the country because like I say, I think we're gonna need it. It's gonna be tough.
So aspirations, just briefly, we're just about at the end of the show. Are you keen to take on the big job when Andrew decides to go back to milking his cows full time?
Yeah, well, still working through that. I think at this stage I'm saying yes. Yeah, it is a challenging role, and it's a big commitment. So you got to make sure that you want to take it on. But I'm certainly getting myself prepared. Should I get the opportunity, and should my farmers vote me into the role, it'll be a huge honour to do, and whatnot. Of course, I've got my own style. It's probably, as Andrew would say too, it's probably quite different to his. And so looking forward to kind of working out how that would look and how that would work for the organisation, and what we could achieve. Is most importantly, because I'm not going to be there to fill a seat. I'm there to get a job done, and if I'm doing it, that's what I want to do.
Wayne, thanks so much for your time. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you and hearing more of your great story. You do amazing work. I congratulate you for your energy and motivation and just doing the right thing. So well done, and you just have a great Christmas with your family. Lots of YOLOs, and we look forward to catching up in the new year.
Oh, cheers, Mark. Appreciate that, and obviously I appreciate the awesome job you guys do there at CountryTV and spreading the good word for ag, and like I say, go strong, and we'll work on a better 2023.
Wayne Langford, my guest, National Vice President of Federated Farmers, famous YOLO farmer and Meet the Need co-founder. That's our point of view for this week. Thanks so much for watching. I'll have another one, same time next week. See you then.